Good morning, everyone. It's a beautiful sunny day here in Germany. We've got chilly weather, but not too bad. And I've been here alone for the last 9 days, but in a few days my husband will be back, and just in time for Easter because his plane arrives midday on Saturday. But at least he's been in a nice, safe country, nice, beautiful northern Nordic country that we've been to and enjoyed together, and he's told me that he would like to take me to where he's been for a recreational visit, which is sure better than when we first got here. Within days he was asked to go to Chad in Africa, and I don't remember him enjoying that trip nearly as much. So I'm hanging in there. And as you can see from my latest videos, I've been hit with a lot of creativity. Although today, nothing is clamoring for a parody. So I don't think I'll be doing any parodies today. There's always a chance that I'll do a straight song, but I kind of doubt it. I think that what I'm going to do after I'm done making this video is take a shower and make a nice lunch, and then I will probably go watch some reruns of Gimme a Break, which I've been watching. It's kind of helping me get through these days because I miss the 80s. It was a simple time. I was a kid back then. And I really enjoy Nell Carter. She was a very talented lady and very funny. And she died too young. But anyway, enough about Nell Carter. I'd like to talk about something else. I read an article in the Guardian yesterday. Again, it was about Donald Trump asserting that he's going to run for president again in 2028. I first off don't know why we're talking about this, because he hasn't even been back in office for 3 months, and the last 3 months have been a shit show. Now, I understand that Trump gets away with everything, and he's really got no interest in being the president. He just wants to golf and stay out of jail. And I get that, okay? And I could be wrong. He may still be here in 2028, and he may still have enough of a brain to run. We can't say never with him. But I just don't think that he's going to be able to do it. I think physically, if he's still living at that time, he will not be able to handle the demands. And mentally and emotionally, intellectually, even if you're a MAGA lover, I can't imagine that you would want him to run the country at that time. So why we're talking about that in 2025, I can only assume that it's just a distraction. We're distracting everybody from the horrific things that are going on. The fact that our government is being dismantled and he is turning into an autocrat. And I'm not even sure, he's basically just the poster child. There's a group of people that are changing the country. That is what we really should be focusing on, not whether or not we will have Trump in office in 2029. But the major news outlets, of course, are going to report on that. So I just said it's not going to happen. And I got a bunch of people who agreed, and they gave me likes. And I got at least 1 or 2 people who wanted to argue with me. And, of course, brought up that Trump is not being held accountable for anything. And I totally get that, okay? But nobody escapes Father Time. And Donald Trump eats like a garbage can. And he doesn't exercise. And he has a strong family history of dementia. His father had dementia. And I just don't see it. That's my opinion, okay? And all I want to do is express it. And, of course, people are going to take you on. But the one thing that really kind of prompted me to make this video was this one woman who started her comment with, "Oh, honey, Now, I really don't like it when people I don't know call me pet names. But especially, like, I don't really like being called pet names to start with. Unless you're Bill. If you're Bill, you can call me a pet name. But even he just calls me darling. Which is funny. I call him sweetass. It's a term of endearment, and there's actual endearment there. If you call somebody you don't know honey, it's condescending and it's rude. And it's meant to take people down, diminish them, shut them up. And it's a quick way to piss me off. So, and I didn't read beyond the oh honey, because I knew, basically this was somebody who was trying to shut me up. And my response to her is, don't call me honey, sweet ass. And then I turned off notifications because I didn't want to get caught in a comment war. I was hard at work on my parody. And you need to have some self-discipline sometimes with these folks because they want to start shit with you. What was really puzzling to me is that I think that the person that made that comment was actually on my side. However, she has decided to give up. She's decided to give up in advance and comply. And that's the only thing that I can think of, the only reason that she would ignore the fact that the 22nd Amendment in the Constitution forbids Trump to try to get a third term. I understand that he's ignoring the Constitution, but it's only because we're tolerating it. And people's tolerance is running thin, because we did have a massive protest a few days ago, and I think that's just the beginning. And I'm not one to roll over for people. I think, when you have a problem with depression, which I do, that attitude is very unhelpful, and it leads to disaster. And it makes me wonder why why should you just even go on? You've given up hope. And now you're trying to take my hope. When you say, oh, honey, and you start becoming very cynical and you start telling people that they should just give up and comply and get over it because this is how it is and this is how it's going to be. You may be right. But you don't have the right to take the hope and the fire from other people. But if you call me honey, if I don't know you, we ain't talking, okay? I'm not going to, I just find that to be a very condescending, rude thing to say. I don't know if that was her intent. It probably was, to be honest. People on the internet have completely lost the ability to show basic respect to other people, and they just, go off on them in that way. I'm just don't call me honey. If you knew me, you'd know I'm not a honey. You'd know I'm not a sweet person. I'm not mean. I'm not unkind. I can be very kind and empathic, but I'm not sweet, and I'm not honey. And if you don't know me, you shouldn't be calling me that. That's just my opinion. And I know that some people will watch this and think I shouldn't have made this video. And I would just say what I always say, which is if it doesn't apply to you or you don't find it useful, move on. Because it's my channel and this is what I want to talk about. And I've said what I'm going to say, so I'm going to stop talking now and get on with the rest of my afternoon, which is rapidly approaching. Nell Carter awaits. She's always good for a laugh. I hope you have a good Tuesday. See you next video, and try to keep the faith.